the Nebraska job opening and who we're looking at as candidates, and I'll talk about some candidates in a second, but look, we're still really early in the process. I will tell you this. I talked to a coach this week who I know is on the wish list for Nebraska. Now, of course, he himself has not spoken to them because he himself is coaching for a major program right now, but his representation via back channels is. It's always a whisper campaign when you get to the early stages of a coaching search. But my point is, there are guys involved in this coaching search. There are names on Nebraska's radar. I know because I'm talking about one you'd never guess in a million years. That's the way it always goes. So just understand, any list, like the one I had Jesse give me right here, any list that you have is being put out there for a very intentional purpose. And then you got folks like me who talk about these names, but I'm not going to give you those names because I want to keep getting information fed to me. Here's what I think Nebraska needs, regardless of who they hire. And I got a bunch of names that I think would be very viable candidates. I just want a guy who not only can take the wheel, I want a guy who can build the ship. If you were going to take over at Georgia because Kirby Smart was retiring tomorrow, I don't need you to be a builder. Ryan Day did not need to be a builder. Lincoln Riley, when he took over at Oklahoma, didn't need to be a builder. This is many things at Nebraska. What it is not is Georgia, Ohio State, or Oklahoma. And so they're going to need a builder. You can't tell me they're identityless. You can't tell me you got culture issues, but then expect a guy to come in and he'll just pick up where the other guy left off. The other guy's out the door for a reason. You didn't even wait 3.5 weeks and save yourself $7.5 million. That's a lot of money in West Central Georgia and East Alabama, but you didn't. So you need to find a guy who can build it all the way from the ground up. Now, some of the names out there, I want to again stress this is not my list. Producer Jesse sent this to me. I said, Jesse, give me some names. He said, Matt Campbell. Out of the question for obvious reasons. Stay away from Matt Campbell. Next thing, Luke Fickell would be a huge get. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to say I don't think they can get him. I think it's unlikely, only because I think Luke Fickell, aside from maybe one or two jobs in the country, is where he would want to be. I don't think he'd want to uproot his family to go to Nebraska. It's not against Nebraska. It's nothing against them. He's about to be in the Big 12. And he's already got his program at Cincinnati operating at an optimum level. I've seen him in person already this year, and I don't know that there's necessarily a lot to gain for him moving, which is a new age philosophy because back in the day, of course, it would be a no-brainer. If you're at Cincinnati, Nebraska offers you first thing smoking out of there, you take it. Well, that's not where we are anymore. Mark Stoops, no. He may have the best job in the country. He's got an SEC salary. He's got SEC support, but he's got reasonable expectations around his program. No, in no circumstances do you go from Kentucky to Nebraska in today's college football. Bill O'Brien at Alabama. That's what you want. I'm going to leave it at that. If that's what you want. Gary Patterson. Now that the week's over, I'll tell you guys this. So I was in the Texas facility last week, Friday afternoon. And it was right after the team and the coaching staff had already gone off to the team hotel. So I'm just walking the hallways, a couple of our viewers there hanging out with me on the Texas staff, and I'm walking down the hallway, and there's one dude still grinding away at his desk, and he's working with the lights off in his office like a pure psychopath. I work that way too, so there was a kinship immediately. The guy was Gary Patterson, who some people don't even know is at Texas until last week. Gary Patterson's in there just grinding away. And that's a hallmark of Alabama. When you're at Alabama, you walk down the hallway, you see former head coaches you forgot existed, and Nick Saban's just got them stowed away. Well, Sark's got that with Gary Patterson at Texas. I absolutely think Gary Patterson will be a head coach again. I would be thrilled if I were a Nebraska fan to get Gary Patterson. He has built it from the ground up. He does have a proven track record. And what I think is guys like him, these little year-off sabbaticals, they're so valuable because not only is he going to sit in Austin, Texas, and game plan for Alabama, what he gets to do is he doesn't leave the game. He just gets to step out of the box for a little bit and observe the game. You get to exchange ideas. He gets to travel. He gets to meet with other coaching staffs. And all of a sudden, you add another layer to your coaching personality, and I think he'll be all the better for it. I would absolutely be on board with him. Urban Meyer, don't think it'll happen. Lance Leopold, dynamite hire. If you can pull it off, dynamite hire. Mickey Joseph, he's the interim. So we're about to see him kind of on the job, not training, but kind of an on-the-job interview here. What can Nebraska be, though? That's the question, and it was the follow-up, actually, that we had today. What can Nebraska be? Guys, there's a lot of room. There's a lot of real estate between college football playoff contender and trash program, you know? And sometimes when I do radio hits and sometimes when I'm talking to not you guys, but some folks, they don't recognize and appreciate that vast real estate, kind of the vast middle ground of college football. Nebraska could be a very solid program. Like, what is Iowa State? What is Iowa? What is Wisconsin? What are those programs? Well, they're not perennial playoff contenders. They're not Georgia or Bama, but they're not trash. So Nebraska can be at the least that. That's what they can be. Now, if you want to come at me and you want to argue, no, 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 it can be so much more. You're shortchanging us. They could every bit be in the West what Ohio State is in the East. I don't believe that. You're welcome to prove me wrong. I don't believe that. But look, you can have a program you can be proud of. And I'll just end it with this. They can be a whole heck of a lot more than they are right now. That's the most important thing to hammer home.
Thanks for watching, guys. Don't leave yet. Don't leave yet. Make sure you like the video and please subscribe to the channel. Not just for me, that's how we keep this entire thing free.